Today, I take on the most intensive and extreme undertaking I have ever undertaken in the history of this channel, which is saying something considering my entire video lineup is made of projects that took a lot more time and effort than I thought they would. Today, I am going to make a comprehensive timeline of all of the games in the Mario universe. Or at least that's what I was going to do. You see, I've been working on this video for how long now? Oh my gosh, 10 months already. Oh my gosh. And it's become apparent that this cannot be done in one video. I mean, I've released extremely long videos before, but the current video I'm editing for this is going to end up being somewhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours long. I cannot release that onto YouTube. That is a movie. And even though the YouTube algorithm hates when you do this, and it guarantees that no one's ever going to see it, I'm going to split this into 3, maybe 4 parts, depending on how long it ends up being in the end. But today is the first part of this endeavor. Anyway, so this is going to take several hours to get through, so let's just hop right into it. First, let's clarify what is valid for this timeline and what is not. Firstly, any Mario game is valid. Any Mario adjacent game is also valid. So games like Donkey Kong games, Wario games, Yoshi games, those all center around Mario characters, so they are valid. Games that have Mario in them are tricky. So games like Smash Bros. Obviously don't count because that's non-canon. However, other games like Punch-Out or Tennis have Mario playing a key role in it, and I'm going to include those as valid and canon unless otherwise contradicted later. So if it's a game where Mario is in it, but it's not a Mario game, and it's made by Nintendo, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and assume it's canon. With the key exception of Smash Bros., since the intro to the first game and some of the stuff from the campaigns in other games show it's clearly all happening in the imagination of a child playing with Nintendo toys. And Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which the intro to that game clearly shows that everything in that was created by Mario merchandise and the Rabbids getting put into a machine that combines stuff. So that makes it canon to the Rayman games, but not canon to the Mario universe. On top of that, non-video game content is going to be considered separate canon. So that means that the Super Mario Brothers movie, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and the Super Mario Kun comics are all considered their own canon and not part of this. Finally, games that were developed by a third-party developer and were not developed for a Nintendo console are not going to be included. This mainly refers to the Software Toolworks games and the CDI games, which unfortunately means I'm going to have to cut the masterpiece of game design and storytelling that is Hotel Mario.
Aha! Here's the problem. Too many toasters. You know what they say. All toasters toast toast.
Just so beautiful. So now that we know what games count and which ones don't, let's get into placing them chronologically. At first I thought I'd just create the timeline beforehand, then go through it in chronological order, going game by game. But after I started recording this video, it became clear that that wouldn't work. See, a lot of these games don't have very clear timeline placements, and it's impossible to replace them without looking at what came before and after. So it actually makes it easier to explain and also create a timeline if I jump around and don't necessarily go in exactly chronological order. And it actually will be much easier to comprehend if I do it that way. So what I decided to do was take the plot relevant and plot based games and place them in chronological order first to create the skeleton of the timeline, or what I'm calling the base timeline, and then placing all of the non-plot related games on the timeline relative to them, which makes this a lot easier to create and a lot easier to explain, but also a lot easier for you guys to comprehend and follow. So first off, for the plot-based games, we have Yoshi's Island, which has one of the most obvious timeline placements, since at the beginning of this game, Mario is literally dropped by the stork carrying him to his parents. So unless there is some obscure spin-off I don't know about that reveals that Mario is a immortal entity infinitely reborn in a cycle due to the whims of a goddess and a primordial demon like Link is, I think it's safe to say that this is the first game in the series. After that, we have Yoshi's New Island, which we can tell comes next, not only because it has the new in the title, but because it's a direct sequel that picks up literally minutes after the first game ends. After that, we get Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, or at least the past section of it, which we know comes next because in this game it's very clear this is the first time Baby Bowser and Bowser interact with each other. And no, Baby Bowser is not Bowser Jr., he is Bowser just as a baby. After this, we get Yoshi's Island DS, where Baby Bowser and Bowser don't seem to be fazed by encountering each other. And this is where we get to the first major roadblock of this video. The ages of the Kong family members. So, Mario is clearly an adult in Donkey Kong Jr., in which Donkey Kong Jr. is a baby. And then, Yoshi's Island DS shows that Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country Games, which is Donkey Kong the Third, is the same age as Mario. So therefore, Mario has to be the same age as Donkey Kong the Third while also being older than Donkey Kong Jr., which doesn't make any sense. And don't you come at me with the, oh, but Tiny Kong shows that Kong's age at weird rates and not consistently. That doesn't matter. This is basic transitive property. Mario is the same age as Donkey Kong Third. Mario is older than Donkey Kong Jr. By transitive property, Donkey Kong III is older than Donkey Kong Jr., which is impossible. No matter how a species ages, you cannot be older than your father. And this Donkey Kong, the baby Donkey Kong in Yoshi's Island DS, is very clearly the Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country Games. See the tie, the face shape, and the hair shape, it's all reminiscent of the modern Donkey Kong, not Donkey Kong from the original arcade game. Who never wears a tie and is much more realistic gorilla looking, as opposed to the more cartoony look of the modern Donkey Kong. At first, I was willing to just draw the same conclusion that most other people who have pointed out this inconsistency have, and I've honestly accepted it as fact for a long time now, and it makes the timeline work so much better this way, and it makes it so much simpler, and that is that Mario and Jumpman, the character from the original Donkey Kong game, cannot be the same person. They have to be like several decades gap in their age, and just going by that makes this work so much better. Unfortunately, I can't, because Miyamoto confirmed that the character in the Donkey Kong games and the character from the Mario games are both Mario. Anyway, this maybe comes to two possible explanations. I don't really like either of them, but they're the only way to get this timeline to work while still following what Miyamoto has said. The first possibility is that since Yoshi's Island DS only involves time travel, Baby Donkey Kong also time traveled from the future. Basically, that would have to mean that Bowser and Kamek would have to go back in time to find the Seven Star Children. For some reason, they know that one of them specifically was not in that time. The other six were for some reason born in that time, but one of them was born decades later. So they know to go to the future and grab that one and bring him back. Yet they don't know where the other six are in the time that they know that the other six are in. And then the Storks have to somehow time travel to bring him back at the end. And they could use the stars for that, I guess. Possibly. There's nothing to really to support this, but this is the best I've got to make this work. And I really don't like this because, like, it's pretty much contradicted by dialogue in the game. And you have to be very flexible and lenient with how you interpret certain lines of dialogue and do a bunch of gymnastics to make this actually make sense. The other theory, which I like slightly more yet am still not a huge fan of, is that the baby Donkey Kong in Yoshi's Island DS is the baby form of the original Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong arcade game, which later becomes known as Cranky Kong. And I really do not like this one either, because the design is very clearly the Donkey Kong from the Donkey Kong Country games, not the Donkey Kong from the arcade games. But there is no good or right answer to a lot of this stuff, so I just kind of have to start jamming the puzzle pieces in at some point. And, I mean, there is one game where Donkey Kong, or the original Donkey Kong, wears the tie and looks kind of like Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country games, that being Donkey Kong 94. So, I guess you could make the argument that this is the original Donkey Kong, though it doesn't seem right to me. But we're going to have to go with that, I guess. Either that or the time travel explanation.
Next up, we have Yoshi's Topsy Turvy, followed by Yoshi's Story. Now, most people put Yoshi Topsy Turvy later in the timeline since it has Adult Bowser in it. However, Adult Bowser is still in the past at the end of Yoshi's Island DS, so it's possible this occurred before he returned to his original time. Especially inclined to say that because this is the only other game where Bowser, or Adult Bowser, is the main antagonist for Yoshi, so it makes more sense to put it here than later on in the timeline. Also, this most likely comes before Yoshi's Story because in Yoshi Topsy Turvy, Bowser uses magic to turn Yoshi's Island into a pop-up book, and in Yoshi's Story, Baby Bowser does basically the same thing, and I don't think Baby Bowser is competent enough to be able to do something like that. So he probably figured out how to do it by copying his older self. And that was the last plot-heavy game, or plot-relevant game, from when Mario's a baby. Now let's move on to when Mario is an adult. Starting off, going back to what Shigeru Miyamoto said, before Mario was in the Mushroom Kingdom, he was in Brooklyn, or maybe at this point New Donk City, and that might have been retconned. Does New York still exist in the Mario universe? Okay, looking it up, New York still exists, so I'm assuming that New York City is separate. I am not getting into what New York City is because that's a whole nother can of worms. I tried to figure it out for this video. It took me like days to try to figure out. I got nothing. So, according to Miyamoto, the Mushroom Kingdom world, which was called Mario World, and the real world are either separate planets in the same universe or parallel universes or something connected by a warp pipe, like in the Mario movie. So, let's start off with Mario in Brooklyn. First up, we have Cement Factory, Punch-Out, and Mario Bros. Game & Watch. Cement Factory and Mario Bros. Game & Watch have Mario working in a cement factory and a ball factory. These two can really fit in either direction. These are probably very early minimum-wage jobs Mario took on. And Punch-Out's also somewhere around these two where Mario's working as a boxing referee as a side gig, probably to make more money. I mean, he's already been through 2 jobs. He probably needs it at this point. And after that, Mario goes to war. That's not a joke. Mario Bombs Away comes next, where Mario gets drafted into a war, most likely the real-world Vietnam War. So Mario was in Vietnam, which is not something I was expecting to have to say today. Anyway, after this, I put Wrecking Crew, where Mario and Luigi are working in demolition. I put this here because it's possible that Mario was able to get this demolition job because of the experience he has with explosives in Bombs Away, since he does use explosives in Wrecking Crew. Next up, we have Greenhouse, which could really go anywhere before Donkey Kong 3, because this serves as an origin story for the main character of Donkey Kong 3, and it could really go anywhere before that, but I'm just putting it here because it makes the most sense. After this, we have Donkey Kong Circus.
Now, according to Miyamoto, the original Donkey Kong was originally Mario's pet. And apparently this has been public knowledge since the 80s. It was apparently mentioned in a manual on Nintendo Power or something. I can't find it, but Miyamoto did say it, so it's true. And I've seen a lot of things online claim that not only was he his pet, but Mario abused Donkey Kong, and that's why he breaks loose and kills Pauline. Now, I could not find a primary source on this, so the abuse part is out. There's no direct evidence for it. But we do know that Donkey Kong was Mario's pet, and in Donkey Kong Circus, we see Donkey Kong performing as a trained animal in a circus, and Mario's off to the side, and in all likelihood, Mario is running that circus. So Mario owns Donkey Kong, and here is Mario Circus with Donkey Kong in it. So Donkey Kong Circus goes here. And for the record, this is very, very much animal abuse. So I guess those baseless claims that Mario abused Donkey Kong aren't so baseless after all.
Following that, Donkey Kong gets mad, breaks out, kidnaps Pauline, giving us the original Donkey Kong. Following that, we get Donkey Kong Jr. Mario gets revenge on Donkey Kong by locking him up, and Donkey Kong Jr. has to go rescue him. Following that, we have Donkey Kong 94, which is started off as, it's kind of like a port of the original Donkey Kong, but it has its own story and its own levels. And we know this is the last of the classic Donkey Kong games because at the end of this game, Mario and Donkey Kong finally bury the hatchet. After this, we get Donkey Kong 3, where Donkey Kong is now fighting a new enemy, Stanley from Greenhouse. After this, Mario and Luigi leave their construction job and become plumbers. This is either because of the reasons that Mario movie and information surrounding the movie that wasn't actually in the movie, say, in which Spike from Wrecking Crew is just a jerk and they didn't like him and they wanted to be self-employed. Or the other possibility is that Mario got fired after the events of Donkey Kong, which I prefer because I think that's actually kind of funny. This leads into the events of the original Mario Bros. For the arcade, after which Mario and Luigi find a warp pipe while plumbing, which leads to the events of Super Mario Bros. And then Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, which is just a level pack for the original Mario Bros. Essentially. After that, we got Super Mario Bros. 2, which technically could really go anywhere since it's a dream, but I chose to put it after Super Mario Bros. And before Super Mario Bros. 3, because this one has a 2 in it. Jokes aside, I am just putting it here because when games are numbered, I want to keep them in that order when I can. Following this, we have BS Super Mario Bros. USA, which is a direct sequel to Super Mario Bros. 2, though it's also kind of like a port. It's basically Lost Levels, essentially. But this is a direct sequel continuing the story, so we know it comes next. After this, we have Super Mario Bros. 3, or rather, the story Super Mario Bros. 3 is based on, because, as Miyamoto has confirmed, Super Mario Bros. 3 is a stage play. So, we can assume actually that the events did happen, though, so we're going to assume that the events that it's based on took place here, and the play comes on later, and it's like historical fiction. And we know that the story it's based on has to come from here because this is the first time the Koopalings meet Mario. Following this, we have Super Mario World, which we know comes next because, one, the manual references Super Mario Bros. 3, and also the Koopalings are in this, and the first time they met Mario was in 3, so it has to come after that. Next up, we have Yoshi's Safari, which I'm putting here because, firstly, in many ways, it's very much intended to be a spin-off of Mario World. Same art style, same characters, everything. And secondly, because Yoshi's here again with Mario as an adult, and we first see them teaming up again in Mario World, so it probably comes after that. After that, we have Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, which we know has to come after Super Mario World because Yoshi is in it. However, it most likely comes before Super Mario Sunshine because Bowser Jr. is not in it, and if he was around at the time, I'd assume he would be. After this, we have Super Mario 64 / Super Mario 64 DS. I'm going to be counting these as the same game, even though 64 DS does change and add quite a few things. We know this comes after Super Mario World because Yoshi appears in it again. However, there's not really any way to say whether this or Super Mario RPG comes first, so I decided just to default to release order. After that, we have Luigi's Mansion. In Super Mario 64 DS, King Boo appears and he mentions his desire to trap Mario in a painting, which foreshadows the events of Luigi's Mansion. After that, we have Super Mario Sunshine, which we know comes next because when Flood scans Mario to register his identity, we can see in the bottom left corner footage from Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario 64, meaning it has to come after all those games. Originally, I was going to put the game before Luigi's Mansion since King Boo is in it, and in Luigi's Mansion, King Boo gets trapped in a painting. But according to the Super Mario Brothers Encyclopedia, all of the enemies in this game, besides Bowser and Bowser Jr., were created by Bowser Jr.'s magic paintbrush. So the King Boo in this game is not actually the real King Boo. After that, we have Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga and its remake Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, which we know has to come next because Bowser Jr. appears in the Bowser's Minions campaign, and because it has multiple references to Super Mario RPG and Super Mario 64. Oh, and I almost forgot, Luigi has the Poltergust 9000 in this game, meaning it has to take place after Luigi's Mansion. From there, I keep all of the Mario and Luigi games together because they are so tightly interconnected and they reference each other so much that it works best if you just keep them all together. So that means next up there is the present of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, followed by Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story / Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, followed by Mario and Luigi Dream Team, followed by Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, followed by Mario and Luigi Brothership. And now for a brief tangent to cover the chronology of the Paper Mario games. Now, Mario & Luigi Paper Jam shows that Paper Mario games take place in a parallel pocket universe, separate from the main Mario universe, and Paper Mario is a separate character. So Paper Mario games are happening simultaneously as the main series games within the Paper Mario Pocket universe. And I'm just going to keep these in release order. So they go Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, Super Paper Mario Sticker Star, Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, Paper Mario Color Splash, and Paper Mario Origami King. After that, we have the new Super Mario Brothers games, which you know have to come after the original Mario Brothers games because these ones have a new in the title. Jokes aside, we noticed it has to come after Super Mario Sunshine because it has Bowser Jr. in it. And it comes after the Mario & Luigi series because Bowser Jr.'s journey shows us how Dry Bowser was created, and Dry Bowser appears in these games. New Super Mario Bros., New Super Mario Bros. 2, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and New Super Mario Bros. U, which I'm also putting New Super Luigi U and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe as part of New Super Mario Bros. U. We know these games happen in this order because in the last two, Blue Toad and Yellow Toad start being playable characters. After this, I am placing Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I am placing after the new Super Mario Bros. Series, firstly because there is a lot of enemy overlap in these games, but also because of the character roster. Firstly, Nabbit is playable, which shows that this comes after New Super Luigi U / New Super Mario Bros. U, but also, notably, Rosalina is not playable in this game, which is noteworthy because Daisy, who has never been playable in the main series platformers, is playable in this game. And we even have several different called Yoshi's as playable characters. So it seems noteworthy that there are so many playable characters in this game, yet Rosalina isn't one of them, suggesting it comes before her appearance in Galaxy. Following this, we have Super Mario Galaxy, and which is immediately followed by Super Mario Galaxy 2, because that's how sequels work. We notice because this is the first time Mario meets Rosalina, who appears in subsequent games, but hasn't appeared in any of the games so far. After that comes Super Mario 3D Land, which we know has to come after Super Mario Galaxy because it has the cosmic clones from Galaxy in it. And following that, we have Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is a direct prequel to Super Mario 3D World. And naturally after that would be Super Mario 3D World, which we know has to come after the Galaxy games because Rosalina is a playable character in it. After that, we have Super Mario Odyssey, which I am primarily putting here due to the appearance of Captain Toad and the Toad Brigade, the various pictures of Cat Mario and Cat Peach you can find, and also just the plethora of references to all parts of Mario's history. And that does it for all of the main plot-based games. Next time, we'll start working on the spin-offs, and then after that, we'll start working on some of the adjacent series and stuff that also ties in. And in the end, I'll be able to go through the entire thing from start to finish for you guys. So, thanks for watching the first part of this hopefully series I'm starting. Remember to like and comment, as well as subscribe and hit the bell so that you'll get notified when the next part comes out, which I'm hoping to get it out next month, maybe earlier, I'm not sure. I'm hoping to get at least 1 month out, but I'm gonna try to shoot to get more.